Hello,
Hi,
ladies.
everybody.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe, and I'm here today with my guest, Rachel Wagner. And she and I are here to talk about our favorite Christmas movies or TV specials, that we like to watch around Christmas time, since it is December and we are in the Christmas spirit, besides the Star Wars spirit, that is. So I figured
That's right.
let's take a little break from Star Wars for a minute. I mean, this is not about Star Wars. We'll probably mention it a couple of times. But excuse me, I'm a little bit sick, so I apologize in advance. We're gonna talk about, some of our favorites. Do you want to do top five or like top 10, or how do you want to do this?
Well, I came up with a top six, and then I have some honorable mentions because we had a few that were the same.
Okay.
So I figured that that would work pretty well, and we could just kind of at least has a frame of reference to
Okay.
kind of organize the thoughts.
All right.
Um, yeah, and so I guess if we just both want to talk about some of our honorable mentions,
Sure.
uh, and I'll maybe I'll name two of mine, you maybe name two of yours, and we can kind of go from there.
Okay.
Um, so, two of my honorable mentions are Elf and Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, like the original or the one with
Yeah, the
Marley?
original.
Okay.
Original.
I didn't see the remake.
No, I mean it's fine. It's just like warmed over. It's just not as good
Mm.
as the original.
That's usually how remakes go about. Sometimes it's just as good, if not better, but a lot of times they're not really that good. I did see the original a long
hmm
time ago. It was the first recollection I have of that one was in Home Alone. When Kevin wakes up and he's in the kitchen, he's kind of looking around, seeing where is everybody, and he's got the TV on, and you
hmm
can hear that drunk guy who's going jingle bells, or something. And then a few years later, I'm watching the movie, and I just go, wait a second, wait a minute, that's the movie he has on the TV.
Yeah, there's a number of moments in Home Alone. That's a movie we both had on our list, and there's a number of moments in Home Alone. You know, you see a little bit of It's a Wonderful Life in Home Alone.
Yeah, in
Uh,
Frank.
yeah, so um, I don't know. I just think Miracle on 34th Street has such a warmth to it. It's such a sweetness to it, and I love movies about work, and it really
Mhm.
is in at the core sort of about this woman who has become cold to love, and so
Yeah.
she's decided to like basically dedicate her life to work and being inherently practical, and how she kind of lets the magic of Christmas into her life. And Maureen O'Hara is so amazing. She was such an amazing actress, and Natalie Wood I think does a really good child performance.
Oh,
And
it's
then you
good.
have um shoot, it's I think I can't remember his name, but the guy who plays Santa Claus in there, Chris, won an Oscar for that performance. I can think of it. I think it's Ed. What heard I? Anyway, but he actually won the Oscar
Oh,
for
really?
that role. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So it's a great one. And then Elf, I think, is just so funny. It's the kind of movie that shouldn't work.
Uh,
um, it should be horrible, but it's
uh,
just he goes all the way. He commits 100% to this character, and I think in many ways, have you ever seen Enchanted, the Disney film
with
Enchanted?
one with Anne Hathaway.
No, that's Ella Enchanted. No,
Oh,
it's with Amy Adams. She's like a yeah,
okay.
and I think that Elf is kind of the male version of Enchanted. It's
Oh,
about this this fairy tale creature that's in New York City. That's
goes
kind
into
of
a real life setting.
yeah, and you have James Caan who's hilarious. Like he plays it totally straight. Mary Steenburgen is really good as the mom. I like the little kid actor. Zoe Deschanel is funny in it. You have
Oh God.
Ed Asner as Santa is
Oh
really
yeah,
funny.
he's in that one. I only know him as Jonah Jameson from the '90s Spider-Man animated show.
Yeah, I
And
just love when he goes into the coffee shop and he's like, "Congratulations, you did it!"
oh man,
Because it's the world's best coffee. I really like that. And so, anyway, that one I think is really funny. It couldn't quite make my top six, but it's really good.
Okay.
So yeah, do you want to give two your honorable mentions?
Okay. Hang on. I got them here on my phone. That way I won't have to remember off the top of my head because I'm gonna forget. But let me just say, those are good picks for honorable mentions. I mean, Elf, I'm a little iffy on because I guess Will Ferrell's really hit and miss for me. I mean, I'll give him credit. He is committed to what he does. I don't hate him. I just some of his movies, I just go, "What are you doing, man?" Although he was pretty good in the Lego Movie. I won't give away
Oh
the
yeah,
it's all about if anybody still hasn't seen it by now. But Miracle on 34th Street.
yeah.
Wait, what?
He's great in a little movie called Stranger Than Fiction. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
That he's actually not. It's more of a quiet performance.
Okay.
Great. Emma Thompson's in it. Anyway, but yeah, but I don't know. It's a silly movie, but it just makes me laugh. So
Yeah, I
what are
see
you
why
gonna
people
do?
are into it. Oh well, I will say this: when I after I enlisted, I was going to what do you call RSP, Recruit Sustainment Program.
Okay.
It was around Christmas time, and some of the guys it's to help you get ready for basic training in the military, get you familiar with what structure's like and all that stuff.
Sure.
And we're cleaning the bathrooms. You know, we had to make sure they were clean every night. And this one guy who was in our platoon, he's cleaning the toilets and all that, and that's not a fun job to do. He just goes to me and say, "Hey, did you see these toilets? They're ginormous." I lost it. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I'm singing. I'm singing.
And Mary Steenburgen, Miss Clara Clayton,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
the scene where it's right before the snowball scene, which I'll admit that was pretty funny. But the one that just makes me laugh, it's right before the snowballs are starting to be thrown, is when is that his brother or his half brother that he's
half
talking
brother.
to?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. He goes like, "Hey, I saw a dog today. You got a lot of homework? Huh? What'd you do today? Huh?" That's like my dad. He just bombards you with questions. I just want to go, "Shut up."
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all have somebody like that.
Yeah.
He's just so innocent and ridiculous, but it, makes you laugh. So.
Oh, yeah, and Zoe Deschanel. I keep forgetting she's in that, and she that's not her natural hair color.
No,
Yeah,
she's practically an elf anyway, so like it just works.
wait, I'm sorry. She's weird, but I mean she's funny, but she's
Just so bright and bubbly and whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. And when I guess Will Ferrell goes to the bathroom and listens to her singing.
Yeah, which is totally weird. Why do they have a shower at Macy's? Like that's.
Oh yeah, I never thought of that. They have some big locker room like it's high
They
school.
probably don't need that at the department store, but it works.
And then he starts singing, and she goes, "What the heck is going on?" And she's like, "Get out!"
Yeah.
At Miracle on 34th Street, you're making me want to watch that again.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really well written script and just a sweet little story. So.
And I did not know that there was. I forgot there was Maureen O'Hara.
Yeah, she just passed away. Just
man,
just a couple weeks ago.
Really? Oh God! And I just knew her from The Quiet Man with John Wayne. I mean, my dad's a big John Wayne fan.
One of the best.
Yeah, and my mom and my dad will always pop that in around St. Patrick's Day because we're part Irish. So.
Yeah, that and Darby O'Gill and the Little People. I always watch that. It's Edmund Gwenn is the name of the Santa. Yeah, and he won an Oscar for it.
Okay. Yeah,
very good.
He was good too, and especially the scene where, like at the end, when all the kid wants is a nice house in the suburbs, I guess. And when she finally figures out that he was real and he wasn't kidding around, it's really. I remember going like, "Oh, this is nice."
Because you gotta believe, you gotta have faith, you gotta believe in something in life, I think, and that's sort of the message of the movie.
Yeah, because like Tom Cruise said in Jerry Maguire, we live in a cynical world, and it doesn't hurt to have some hope sometimes.
Well, if there's anything that holiday films aren't, or they shouldn't be, is cynical. So
yeah,
they should be. So
all
right.
Here's my honorable mentions. I think it's like comes down to 2 or 3. Depends. One of them depends. Actually, oh yeah. Well, It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, how could you not like that movie? My mom
That
is a big. Oh, go ahead.
that's in my top 5. So
Okay,
yeah.
my mom is a big Jimmy Stewart fan, and he's good too. I like Jimmy Stewart, and I took a cinema history class recently for school, and we
Mhm.
watched a little bit of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. I think that's the name
Mhm.
of it. He plays a senator, and I saw Rear Window for the first time because I had to do it for a homework assignment.
Great
And
ones.
yeah, yeah, and he's somebody called Tom Hanks the Jimmy Stewart of our time. I don't know, it just popped into my head because they're both really great at what they do, and
Mhm.
Jimmy Stewart has a presence to him that you don't really see these days in some
Mhm.
actors. And
Yeah, he's just so likable. He's so endearing.
yeah,
And I mean, talk about three roles that couldn't be really more different in a way. I mean, you add Vertigo and some of his other parts, some of his westerns that he did. I mean, he's just a very pretty diverse
yeah,
talent. I mean, and Tom Hanks, to his credit, has also done a pretty wide variety of roles.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but I think that I actually have It's a Wonderful Life as my number one.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so I don't know if we want to wait and talk about that a little more later, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's my favorite.
okay. Yeah, we'll save that for last.
Okay,
I wanted to briefly bring that up.
sure.
And where's my next one? Home Alone 2. I like Home Alone 2. I don't know how about other people feel
I
about
do
it.
too.
Okay. I like the
Tim
whole
Curry.
let's someone take your stolen credit card. And I don't know, like he starts running through the lobby and he's like, stop him! And that woman or whoever she is, I forget the actress's name, she does this, like stretches her arms out. He slides right underneath and looks
Yeah,
back and all of a sudden, boom! They bump into
that
each other.
that's a movie that shouldn't work. It really shouldn't. It's kind of a cash grab. It's kind of it's a sequel. Comedy sequels usually are
Yeah.
terrible, but
Hmm.
it does for whatever reason. It just
Yeah,
does.
as an adult, I realize that it's the same movie, but it's in a different location.
Yeah,
But
but
I like the whole new. Oh, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say you get Tim Curry in there, and
Yeah, and the homeless woman with all the pigeons on her. I forget
hmm
the actress's name. She's good.
Brenda Fricker, I think is her name.
Brenda Fricker. Okay.
She's a great actress.
I've seen
Uh,
her in Angels of the Outfield with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Danny Glover and Christopher Lloyd, and I didn't even know that was her until a little bit later in life.
she's in My Left Foot with Daniel Day-Lewis. She won an Oscar for that. She's great in that.
Is that what
Uh, I
she
highly,
in?
I highly recommend seeing that movie. It's really good.
Okay.
I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh God, Daniel Day-Lewis.
He's so good in it. But
Oh, he's good in anything.
yeah.
But
So okay, great. Well, I have a couple others. I'll just couple. I have 3 other honorable mentions. I have the Muppet Christmas Carol. I have Mickey's
no.
Christmas Carol, and I have Die Hard. And I feel like you got to talk about Die Hard in a holiday film podcast or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I actually didn't see Die Hard until this year.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of late on that bandwagon.
Um.
It has a lot of language for me. It's right on the
Yeah.
edge there for me. But
Sure.
but I think what it's nice to have a couple Christmas movies that aren't really Christmas movies when you get a little burnout, and I think Die Hard's probably a good one to put in if you're getting a little sick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Die Hard's an action classic. You can watch it any time of the year,
sure.
not just Christmas time, but it feels like a summer movie. I mean, it's California and it's always warm there.
Well, it's so smart because it keeps things really small.
Hmm.
Just there's not like crazy, ridiculous explosions or, I mean, like the most sort of tense moment is probably when he's walking on the glass with that, his feet, and you're like, oh my gosh, how it's just one man getting kind of pulverized bit by bit by bit, and you've got a
Yeah.
great villain, and I think when you have a villain, you want him to be smart,
Hmm.
and you want him to be somebody that makes the hero feel vulnerable, and I think you totally feel that way with Die Hard. And to
Hmm.
me, when I was watching it, because I'm a huge 24 fan, I
Me
loved
too.
24,
Me too.
and and so for me, I really thought they were watching John McClane when they created Jack Bauer. I think.
Yeah.
I
Like,
really do.
yeah, there are a few times where Jack Bauer feels like, there's no way out of it. Like some of the stuff that he goes through in that show, you can really connect with him because I like it when Hollywood gets it right and they humanize characters, not just like superheroes or sci-fi characters. Anybody really. It shows you that yeah, anybody, you can relate to anyone. But
Yeah.
but with Die Hard, I mean, I first watched that, I think I was like 12 or 13 years old with my dad. Yeah, I was a little bit older than I would have been. When I first saw the poster for Die Hard, I was like 9 years old. And obviously my mom and dad wouldn't want me to watch that with a whole bunch of F-bombs in there at that age.
Yeah.
But I
But
love that movie.
yeah. And it feels like he's really in pain. It feels like, and they just do a really good job of making it feel tense and making it feel like, as opposed to somebody just like ducking an explosion in a green, on a green screen or something that looks really cheesy.
Yeah.
I feel like it looks really good. But and then my other two, I am a huge Christmas Carol nut.
Okay.
Last year on my blog, I do a Christmas series on my blog, and last year I watched 35 different versions of Christmas Carol, which is somewhat insane. But yeah, a lot of them were short, were like 35 minutes, an hour, whatever.
Okay.
And it was actually really fun. To me, it was really interesting. And two of the best for kids are the Mickey and Muppets. The Mickey one actually has quite a bit of story, and it's sort of a weird experiment for Disney that they did, because it's the only time I can think of where you have the characters that we know and love playing other characters. Right? So
Yeah.
so Mickey is playing Bob Cratchit. It's not Mickey, which is sort of weird.
Yeah.
It's a little meta at points, and you've got Goofy as Bob Cratchit, or as Jacob Marley. You've got and it's entertaining. They do a good job with it, and then Muppets I think is really fun. So those are my honorable mentions. What about do you have any others?
I do, but I just want to briefly mention real quick the one with the Muppets, since you brought that up. I haven't watched it in a while. My sister has the copy that we have, so since she moved out. But I did watch the scene where Scrooge goes back in time to when he was younger, and it has to do with that woman who leaves him, I guess, because he got too wrapped up, or like I guess leave him for some reason. And it's a musical number, obviously, but up until when Michael Caine comes in, I feel like this is sad, that she's leaving him like this. But it's the music also that kind of hits you a little bit right there.
Yeah,
but
it has good music.
Oh yeah, yeah. But then Michael Caine shows up right behind her, and he starts singing, and you could see the heartbroken look in his face. I was a mess right there. I just literally lost it. Oh man, Michael Caine, he makes me cry. He makes me cry, even in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I know it's shameful. I have not seen it.
Okay.
I need to get on that, but I'm not that crazy of a Batman fan.
Okay.
I mean, it's fine, but it's not my fandom. But but yeah, he's a great actor. There's no denying it. I think he's really good in that role because he plays it straight, just kind of like Will Ferrell in Elf, or James Caan in Elf. Like he acts like he's talking to anybody else, and he's talking to a Muppet rat, or to Kermit or whatever. And that's what makes it work, I think. And there's actually a ton of the original text, because you have Gonzo playing Dickens in the film. And so you get a lot of the original Dickens text, which I think is really cool, for kids.
Sure.
So yeah, I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention my other two honorable mentions.
Yeah, please.
I said Home Alone, I said Wonderful Life, and this is a little bit controversial, but The Grinch, either the animated special or the live version with Jim Carrey. I know some people don't like it, and I get why. I watched it again recently, and I still had a fun time with it, but there are a few times where I just go, what the heck was that all about? That was just too much.
I love the animated. I love the animated one. It's great. But
Yeah.
it's just too, you just can't, Hollywood can't do it. It's too hard to take this, short little story of Seuss and make him into a 2-hour motion picture. Like,
Hmm.
it just doesn't work. I
Well,
think one of the only one that has been passable of the four, in my opinion, the four feature films
yeah.
of the of Dr. Seuss is Horton Hears a Who. That
Didn't.
one was okay, but the Lorax I hate. It's one of my least favorite animated films ever, and the Cat in the Hat is unpardonable.
Oh,
It's mean.
oh,
It's awful.
that is insultingly bad.
It's one of the worst movies ever made. I feel
I,
pretty confident in saying.
I remember sitting there in the theater when I was 13 watching it, and I just went, I hate this thing. Get me out of here and my misery.
Well, and it's just like, I don't know, for me, the Grinch, the live action Grinch, like, you gotta love Jim Carrey. He tries so hard. Like,
Oh,
he's
oh yeah, he just goes all the way with it.
yeah. So I give him some points for that. But just like the weird pig nose look of all the characters, and it just like it feels stretched out, and it just, the whole color palette being kind of dirty looking. Everything looks kind of dirty, and Whoville looks very polluted to me. I don't know. I just, to me, that's a miss. But I do love the animated short.
Yeah,
I think,
not to mention all the Dutch angles that you get in the
yeah.
live action. That's another thing that caught my eye. I just went, there's a lot of Dutch angles going on here. What was Ron Howard doing?
Well, and then like in the animated short and in the book, the people, the Who's down in Whoville are so lovely and sweet and
Yeah,
nice, and they're cheerful,
yeah.
and in the movie, in the Grinch, they're kind of awful. They're,
Except for Cindy and maybe her dad. That
yeah,
was
they're like cheating people, and there's like, I don't know, it's just like it's all commercial, and
yeah.
so it doesn't, at the end, when they all celebrate and sing without any presents at all, you don't really feel as good, because you haven't
Mm,
really seen that in their characters, I don't think.
I see
uh,
what you mean.
but I know a lot of people do enjoy it, so and it's better than Cat in the Hat, and I think it's better
Yes.
than the Lorax, so I will, personally.
I'll take your word for it on the Lorax, but
Ugh.
it's a lot better than Cat in the Hat.
Yeah,
I,
so I don't mind you giving that honorable mention.
okay.
So, all right, so now we'll be at our top six. So
Okay.
I will. Well, you had top five. I did top six,
Or it
and
might be.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, since you mentioned Die Hard, it might be in my top five. I'll extend it if you want.
Okay, good. Okay, well, my number six is called Arthur Christmas,
Arthur.
and
Okay.
have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I never saw it though.
It's so good and so underrated that that's why I was like, I have to do six. I have to fit that in, but I couldn't take any of my other ones off. It's such a great animated film. I honestly think it probably should have been nominated that year for Best Feature Animated Film. But for whatever reason, the studio that made it, Aardman Animation, they just can't seem to get a hold of the American public. For some reason, they just can't seem to get it. They make these great films, like they did Shaun the Sheep this year, which was so sweet and wonderful, and it made $18 million in its
Really?
whole run, which is just really bad.
Hmm.
And so, I don't know what the problem is there, but Arthur Christmas deserved more attention than it got. And it's about the son of Santa Claus. There's two sons, and there's one that is kind of like a military op leader for the North Pole, and he's got everything kind of set up and organized, and he's doing a great job.
Mm.
But there's like none of the warmth. Whereas like the younger son, Arthur, he's in charge of reading all the letters to Santa,
Okay.
and he basically finds out that one of the presents for one little girl gets missed in all of the military kind of style operations or whatever.
Okay.
And so he makes it his mission to deliver the gift to the little girl on Christmas. And
Oh.
everybody's saying, just let it go. It doesn't matter. And, everybody's become kind of cynical. And, it's just one girl. It's just one present. He's like, no. And so, yeah, it's great.
Okay.
We're checking out.
I'll have to
Big
think. I'll
voice
have to think
cast,
that
too.
a voice. Who are the voice actors in
It's
there?
got Hugh Laurie.
Really?
From House. He's in there. It's got yeah.
Oh
James
man.
McAvoy is in it.
Oh my God, James McAvoy.
Mm-hmm.
Love that guy. Charles Xavier.
Yeah. So it's great. But so
Okay.
what do you have as your
Well, except for my number one, except for my number one, this is in no particular order from like 6 to 2.
Okay.
Since we mentioned Die Hard, I'm just gonna get that. Let's get to that one. Die Hard. It's not only a good Christmas movie, but it's a really great action movie. It's made by John McTiernan and Chris Stuckman. If you watch him, he's mentioned this a few times before, like in his Die Hard videos. It's hard for me to say stuff that hasn't already been said, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Bruce Willis is probably arguably one of the best action hero actors that we've had in our time. I mean, say what you want about his movies nowadays. He makes a lot of crap movies now, except for Looper. And I'm one of the people who actually like Die Hard 4, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And
I never saw it.
Oh, okay. It's not as good as the other first 3, but it's pretty good for a sequel. I mean, long story short, it's a PG-13 rated. There's not too much F-bombs in there except for maybe one time, but it's blurted out. But I do like the whole dynamic between John McClane and Hans Gruber, and props to Alan Rickman.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, I never knew that was Snape until one of my friends pointed out to me, that's Professor Snape from Harry Potter. And I just went, really? I looked it up online later. I just went, oh my God, I didn't even recognize him. I mean, because of all the makeup and everything. I didn't know if that was makeup or just his real hair, but he is a really great villain for John McClane to face off against.
And he's smart. His
yes.
plan is really, really smart.
Yeah.
And it has layers to it. It's really well thought out. And so I think that makes him a worthy adversary.
Yeah, and they don't share a whole lot of scenes together, John and Hans, if you really think about it. The only time they really share scenes together is when John runs into him, I guess when Hans is looking at the wires that are like the bombs that his men planted to make sure they're all in line. And John doesn't recognize him at first, I guess. Or like maybe he has a feeling about him, but then Hans, points the gun behind him and he's like, oh, I know. You are Hans, okay. And then they don't meet again until later on at the end when he pushes him out of the window of the building to keep his wife from falling. And I just remember my dad showing me, look how he's gonna. Wait, what?
Yeah, the only part of that movie I could do without is all the stuff with the reporters.
Oh, yeah.
I think that part, it's like, yeah.
Especially the one who goes to his wife's house to talk to the kids. That's
kind of creepy.
Good for her to punch him in the face on TV. He was a slime ball.
So that's a very good one. Okay, so my next one, and I think this is on both of our lists, so we can just talk about it here. My next one is Home Alone.
Okay.
And I just actually had the opportunity to see Home Alone on the big screen for the 25th anniversary, which is crazy. That's that old.
It's as old as me.
I know. Home Alone was the first movie. I saw it when I was 9 years old, and my grandparents took me, and it's the first movie that I remember really laughing hard at, in the theater, at least, and just rolling on the floor crying, laughing. And one thing I remembered in watching it this last time is there's so much more than just the slapstick at the like kind of violent parts. It's really only about the last 20 minutes. The booby traps and all of that section. Yeah. It's not that long.
No, not really.
Like that's what you remember, but it's really not that long. And I just loved. I was a really independent kid, and so for me, the idea of like being left alone was like this is a fantasy. This isn't scary. This is great. And I loved the fact that he like goes and gets the groceries and does the laundry and it's just like, to me that was great. I just think that we think that kids can't do anything, and not that you should leave them alone, of course not, but
no.
I just think the average kid, I really think if you said, okay, you're gonna pick out the groceries, what, I think they do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And we don't think they could. And I just love that about the movie. It's just how like independent and strong he is. And so it's really nostalgic for me, I admit it. But I think it's also just a solid quality film. It has great music by John Williams. It's got the great relationship between the old man and the neighbor and Kevin. I love the performance by Catherine O'Hara, who they're not related, but they look like they should be, her and Maureen O'Hara. But anyway, and she's great as the mom, and I love like when she meets John Candy. It's hilarious.
Oh, God.
And he tells the story about leaving his son at the funeral parlor. That's hilarious. And it's just so great. He talks about the polka players and how they see they're on the road 50 weeks out of the year or whatever. And but anyway, and so I don't know, I just love it. I think it, like, little scenes like when he steals the toothbrush. That scene is hilarious. That scene is so funny. And he's like walking down, he's like, I'm a criminal. And I think, like, also, like, you got to give Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci a lot of credit, because they totally sell everything. They'll be like, the look on their faces and the it's a great movie, I think.
Oh yeah, I was just watching that recently. I watched it a few days ago with my mom, because I don't know, seeing your review of it, I kind of went, you know what, I want to watch this again. I have the Blu-ray along with the second movie. It's on my shelf right there, and I gotta say, I've always hated his brother, the one who eats all of his pizza and he pukes all over him. And granted, Kevin was being a little bit of a brat, but also it's like, come on, Mom and Dad, you can clearly see that his older brother's kind of giving him a hard time. I mean, cut him some slack a little bit, would you?
I know.
And I will say that one thing that I didn't notice until a couple years ago when I was watching the movie, I think it was last year or the year before, I forget. It's after he has that where he realizes that he's all alone and he's celebrating and he's going, ah! By the way, that's what I'm going to do the morning I wake up on the day I go see Star Wars.
Yeah.
All excitement.
Yeah.
And what was this? Oh yeah, he goes into his brother's room and he opens that chest or whatever that was.
Yeah, yeah.
He picks up a magazine. It's got like Monster Truck on it or something, but it says Playboy. Now, you know all Playboy is, right? And he just tosses it to this. It's like, no clothes on anybody. It's sickening. That's so priceless. I didn't get that when I was a kid.
Well, and it's so funny too, the whole keep the change, you filthy animal. Like, those scenes are hilarious.
Oh yeah, and you were right though. The music by John Williams. If there's anybody who hasn't disappointed in Hollywood, it's John Williams. I mean, if the movie itself isn't that good, listen to the music. It's great by John Williams. I mean, he's never disappointed.
There's no denying it. He's the best. He's great.
Exactly, and also,
and this is probably one of his more forgotten. People forget that he actually did it, but it's a really great, because there's a soundtrack. And then there's also the theme and the way they mix it all together, I think.
Yeah. And I didn't notice that until you brought it up with the slapstick stuff and all the traps and everything. It doesn't last for very long.
Mm-mm.
And watching it recently, I just went, oh yeah, it doesn't really take up that much time. But it's obvious with the way it is, how it's executed. That's what makes you remember it so much.
Well, and it's all stuff that's within the realm of possibility, at least. Obviously, like, he couldn't have maybe done all of that in one night, but like none of the stuff is that crazy, like it's using stuff from his garage. Like I feel like it's all sort of believable in a certain way, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it's not overdone. It's
Mm-mm.
the kind of slapstick comedy that I can get into, and the other kind of slapstick comedies from Michael Richards and Seinfeld as Kramer whenever he busts through the door and he does all
Yeah.
those flailing body movements all around. And I think the one thing that it makes me cringe now is when Daniel Stern is walking up those stairs on that tar and he steps on the nail.
Oh yeah.
Oh God. And believe it or not, I saw The Walk recently. I saw The Walk a couple months ago with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he
Yeah.
steps on that nail. I just went, "Oh God!" It reminded me of Home Alone. And, just, ah! And then
Oh
another
my
one.
gosh.
Just one more. The one with when Kevin puts the spider on his face. He starts screaming.
Or how about the iron fall? That was pretty
Oh
good.
man, that's gotta hurt. Yeah, you're right.
So, and it's just like empowering for kids. Like it was so cool to be in a theater full of kids watching it on the re-release, and they were just cracking up just like I cracked up
Oh
when I
really?
was 9. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was so fun. Brought
Wow.
back a lot of memories, and it still makes kids laugh even now.
Sure, yeah. And also one more thing before we move on, it's that I didn't ever really think of that until you brought it up. At the end when his mom finally comes home, like he's looking around because he heard her voice, and then he feels that she's right behind him, and he turns around, and obviously he's happy to see her, but he's also giving her this looks like, Mom, like what you said, the last thing you said to me before you left, it's like you'd be very sad you woke up tomorrow and we weren't here. It's just like, why did you do that to me? And
Yeah.
she immediately realizes like, oh God, I'm sorry. And she's like, I'm sorry, Kevin. But then he smiles like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I never thought of that until you brought that up. It's like, that's a good point. And watching it again, I just went, yeah, I'd be a little bit upset with her too if she was my mom and that happened to me. But you know what? It's a nice ending to it also. And
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara, yeah, you were right. She is really great as the mom. And you buy her as a mom. She looks like she has that motherly look to her, I would say.
She's a great actress. I think I love her in the Christopher Guest films. Like I don't know if you ever seen any of those, like a Mighty Wind or This Is Best in Show, or oh, you got to put those on your list. They're hilarious. So funny. Yeah, and it's just like they improv the movies, or at least a certain percentage of the movies, and they're absolutely hilarious. So I highly recommend it. Best in Show is the best one.
Okay.
But they're really good. So okay, well, I'll just, since that was on both of our lists, I'll just say my next one. My next one is A White Christmas, and this is the musical with Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, and Vera Ellen. And it's cheesy and silly, but it's got great music, and it's one of those movies that knows what it is, and that's what it is. You know, it doesn't try to be anything else. It's a movie that has great music and great dancing, and that's what you get in that movie. And you got Bing Crosby singing White Christmas. You have other great Irving Berlin songs. You have great dance numbers from Vera Ellen and Danny Kaye. You have a nice heart to the film with them trying to do something nice for their major general who's not feeling needed anymore after the war. And you have some good fun comedy, like when Danny Kaye and Bing Crosby do the sisters number. Have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen White Christmas?
I think I might have. Now that you brought it up, you said Major General or something like that. I think maybe I saw it. I can't remember.
They do a number in drag that's pretty funny called Sisters.
Oh God! And this lady I work with, she's a big Bing Crosby fan, and she just loves the way he sings. And every time we hear his songs at work for Christmas, I end up going along with like and candy canes and silver. I can't sing worth a crap, but yeah, he's got a good voice, Bing Crosby.
Oh, amazing! And Rosemary Clooney is amazing singer as well. And it's like they got Danny Kaye and Vera Ellen for the dancing, and they got Rosemary Clooney and Bing Crosby for the singing. And and you got Irving Berlin, who's a great songwriter, and doing all the songs, and it's just really enjoyable. And you have things that you just never would have in a movie now. Like there's long sequences, probably, I don't know, 10 minutes of just them like practicing numbers that don't have anything to do with the plot. It's just like this long dance number. And some people would probably be like, oh, it's so boring, but I love it. I think it's great.
I have to watch it now that you brought these up. There's a lot of stuff I still haven't seen yet.
So what'd be next on your list?
Let me see. Since you brought up Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. When he goes on that rant, he brings those two names up.
tap it, like Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad loves that movie, and it's I don't know, it's just so much chaos that goes on. Nothing goes right for him, like Clark Griswold, and like he's trying so hard to make it as perfect as he can for the family, but everything keeps falling apart. It's so entertaining to watch him like get stuck in the attic, put on that stupid turban or whatever that is, and watch the old reels of his family when he was a kid at Christmas time. And what was that one? It's his wife's mom. I forget the name of her actress, but she's in Everybody Loves Raymond. She plays Raymond's mom.
Yeah, Doris Roberts, I think is her name. I think
Doris Roberts. Okay.
I think is her name.
And the cousin Eddie, played by Randy Quaid. Oh my God.
My two favorite parts of that movie. I forget the aunt, the aunt's name. The old aunt. Anyway, Bethany. Aunt Bethany. When she says grace, I think that is so hilarious. I pledge allegiance to the flag. That's really funny. And and my other favorite is when the squirrel pops out of the tree. He's like, that's so funny.
And the dog chases right after him. This is like what my dog would do if he saw people like that in the house.
Yeah. That I think is hilarious. But yeah, her saying grace I think is just so funny.
There's like 3 moments that make me laugh consistently. Well, there's a couple, but I'm just gonna mention 3. The one where Clark is in the department store and he's flirting with that saleswoman or whatever that was.
Oh yeah.
He's bumbling, he's being all nervous and everything, and then his son is looking for him, and he sees his dad, and he's just going like, he walks over and he's like, "So Russ, you can't see the light, can you?" "Nope." And he's like, "Oh," and then he goes, "Oh crap, it's my son." That's what I do to my dad if I saw him doing something like that.
And that's a young Johnny Galecki that's on Big Bang Theory.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't watch Big Bang Theory.
Random, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. I know. And another one, what was it? Oh yeah. It's after Uncle Lewis burns down the Christmas tree with the cigar.
Yeah.
And it's a little moment, but it's always makes me laugh. It's like, "Look what you've done to my tree!" And he turns around and he notices that his back is on fire, but Uncle Lewis is completely oblivious to it. And it's the moment where he just goes, "Lewis." That's it. They're just like, "Lewis, we're on fire." And the final one is, oh God, I just forgot it because we were so caught up. Oh yeah, it's before she says grace. It's like, "The blessing."
Yeah. We always joke that with my grandma because she can't hear at all. And we're always like, "They want you to say grace."
I know what you mean. It's like my dad. Sometimes we say something to him. He goes, "Huh?" Just go, "Dad, pay attention."
Grace. Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah, it's a great comedy. I think that sometimes we're too quick to discount how hard it is to make a good comedy. I mean, you think how many terrible comedies there are. So when there's one that's really solid, then it really stands out. So
yeah,
good pick. All right, so the next one that I have is A Christmas Story from.
That's my next one as well.
I love Christmas Story. It just has sort of that deadpan humor that I think is so funny in the narration, and it has so many sort of iconic scenes, but then also so many more subtle scenes. You've got like the iconic scenes, like the tongue getting stuck to the fire pole, the double dog dare you,
Triple dog dare you.
and the Santa Claus scene is pretty iconic and weird. And but I love the scene with the bully. I think that scene is really heart wrenching, actually. Yeah,
I love that.
and
That was just real quick. That was my favorite part as a kid when he was beating him up and the bully was just screaming like a baby in pain.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a big tough guy. He acts all tough, and now he's bawling like a baby being beaten up by a 9-year-old. But then, as an adult, I think it's funny. But then when he starts cursing, you're just like, oh boy, this is getting a little heavy.
Well, and then when his mom kind of rescues him with his dad at night, and he's like, things would be different from that moment on between me and my mom. And I'm just like, that's so cute. I don't know. I just really enjoy it. And there's just so many good moments. Like the stuff with the lamp is hilarious. Another iconic moment. Fragile. It's Italian. Yeah.
You just made me. I'm just real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
You just made me think of when the mom breaks the lamp, and the dad's so furious, and the narrator goes, "The old man stood quivering with fury as he tried to come up with a real crusher, but all he got out was not a finger." That's the best you can do.
Yeah, well, they're so funny. Like I love like the dad's relationship with the dogs is hilarious. Like battling the furnace. Like there's just so many funny parts. When he gets his mouth rinsed out with soap, he's like I've become a connoisseur of soap over the years.
Yeah. Life boy, on the other hand.
And yeah, I like all the performances. I think are all really good.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great child actor. Peter Billingsley, I think, is great in it. And just that, I love movies that have that sort of sense of a kid. That's why I love the Lego movie, actually. The idea of sort of a kid trying to explain their world to their parents or their adults in their life, and just that futility, how it's just like impossible.
Yeah.
And
it feels like what a kid would say, I guess, to the audience or something.
Yeah.
Like that. I think that's the best way to say it. But yeah, that's my next choice, the Christmas Story. That's pretty much what you said. I love the scene at the end, like at the department store when he goes to see Santa and he just says yes to a football, and then he's like, "Wait a minute, I didn't mean that. Wake up, stupid!" He stops and he comes back. I was like, "No," and he says, "I want the Red Ryder BB gun or whatever." And Santa's like, "He'll shoot your eye out, kid." But it's not. But it's the look he has on his face, and he just goes like this. Like, what? Are you kidding me? I just heard that like 5 times already.
Football? What's a football?
Oh yeah, and the kid that I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
This is a kid that he talks to, and while he's standing in line, the one with the goggles on, or the pilot hat or something. What was up with that kid? I never got.
No, I don't know. Yeah, there's lots of weird touches like that in the movie, like the fact that I guess they're in the parade, but the fact that Dorothy and the Wicked Witch and stuff are there in the department store, that's weird.
Yeah, I was just like, where did that come from?
And I love them getting the horrible pink outfits from the aunt at Christmas. That's really funny. What kid can't relate to that? Like getting some awful sweater or something like that. Go try it on.
He looks like a deranged Easter bunny.
and then they have the Chinese food at the end is really funny. Trying to sing.
Rah, 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 rah.
It's so good.
Oh yeah.
So good. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, I guess what's next one on your list?
Well, the one I was going to mention that was what you brought up, Christmas Story. So it's
Okay.
pretty much what you said. So
So my next one is my favorite version of Christmas Carol. It's actually was made in 1951. It stars an actor named Alistair Sim, and he was a comedic actor, British actor, and so he brings a little bit of sarcasm to sort of the role of Scrooge,
okay,
and it's so beautifully shot. It's just the way the black and white photography, the way that the cinematography is done, is a step above any other version that I've seen. And one thing I like in it is that they go and do a little bit of background. They add to the book, which some people might not like, but they explain that he basically had this mentor. Ebenezer Scrooge had this mentor who screwed him over. And basically, like at the end, he said, like, that's business. That's what you got to do to make money. This mentor did.
okay,
Tough luck. And I feel like that makes so much sense for there to be some kind of history like that. He's a businessman. Of course, he must have had something like that happen,
yeah,
to make him so bitter and so consumed with his, with his affairs. And I mean,
yeah.
he even says that in the book. My affairs consume me 100%. He has no time for anyone else's problems.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I think in a lot of other stories, uh, Ebenezer Scrooge might be. I joke that Ebenezer Scrooge would be on Shark Tank these days. He'd be kind of a hero. He'd be out there, like and yet he has forgotten what makes, for Christians at least, what makes Christmas important, and that's the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. And but
Right.
just even more than that, though, uh, the promise of hope and goodness. And it doesn't matter what it is that consumes, that makes you forget about the most important things. It could be a job, it could be anything. And I think that's why the story rings so true even now, because we want to believe that there's good in everyone, and we want to
Yeah.
believe that anybody can be redeemed. And and what a better time at Christmas than to have a message. If you believe in Jesus Christ and you believe in the Christmas story, what better time to have a story about redemption and that somebody can change that seems completely far gone. And you really get that in this version. It has the best spirits, I think, of any of the films. It's just the best made version of Christmas Carol, and like I said, the black and white photography is just gorgeous. So I highly recommend it. Checking it out.
Well, I've seen a lot. I've seen a couple versions of Christmas Story over the years, and I haven't read the book since fifth grade.
Yeah.
We had to read it in fifth grade, but like you said with the Muppets earlier, they take a lot of text from the book. So I do remember how certain passages of the book go, and
Mm-hmm.
I do. I did watch a black and white version of Christmas Story, but I don't know if it's the one you were talking about because, like I said, it's been a long time since I watched a version of it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check it out one day.
Yeah, you should. I recommend it. All right. Well, what do you have next on your list?
I've done Die Hard, Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story,
Home Alone.
Home Alone. Yeah, so I got two more to cover. My next one, it is, I would say it's a bit underrated, and it's by Robert Zemeckis. If anybody gets that clue, it stars Tom Hanks. It is The Polar Express, based on one of my favorite childhood books, Polar Express. My mom read me the book quite a few times around Christmas time when I was a kid. And I have the book still, or at least a copy of it, somewhere in my shelf where all the rest of my books are. And then when I remember seeing the trailer for it around the time, it was a year before it was released. And I just went, what is this about? And then you hear Tom Hanks saying the line on Christmas Eve many years ago. And I just went, oh my God, they're making a movie about the Polar Express? And then the train started coming in. I got goosebumps. And then it's,
Yeah, a lot of people don't like the motion capture in that, because it was one of the first ones that
Yeah.
was a movie with all motion capture animation.
Hmm.
And it does look like it looks a little weird. The people look a little strange, but it
Yeah.
doesn't bother me that much. I'm okay with it. And the way that I love the way the snow looks in
Yeah.
that film and just the way the environment looks. It's still, I think that part of it definitely holds up. And I love the music. I think is great
Yeah.
uh, in there. And even the title song, I think, sung by Josh Groban, who's my favorite.
Really?
And yeah, I love Josh Groban.
Okay.
And yeah, I think it's a really sweet little nice story
Yeah.
about having faith
It's
in
exactly
things.
exactly it. Yeah. And there are a couple of times where you do notice how weird the animation looks. Like some of the way I guess the eyes look a little bit. What's the right way to say it? I guess they look a little lifeless. I guess in some ways. I guess it depends on the lighting of of certain scenes, but and there are one or two moments where it gets a little creepy. I guess that's mostly due to the homeless man that Tom Hanks plays, one of the many characters he plays in the movie,
Mm.
along with the conductor. But the conductor's not creepy; it's just the homeless guy. I thought that was a little too dark, I guess. And
It's been a while since I've seen it, I have to be honest, but I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a very
yeah.
sweet little movie, and I like the hot chocolate
Oh
song.
yeah,
That
hot,
one's really fun.
hey, we got it, hot, hot. In fact, here's my copy of Polar Express on DVD. Um,
Okay, does it say on there who did the music? I forget.
it's Alan Silvestri who did the
Ah,
Back to the Future theme, and Forrest Gump. And he did the Captain America theme for the first Avenger.
oh, cool.
Yeah, from what I could tell, he frequently collaborates with Robert Zemeckis.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, pretty much what you said. Like it's about faith, you know. I mean, and also just real quick, the boy. They never give him his name. I don't know why. They just call him the boy or something like that in the official cast list or something like that.
Hmm.
And but it doesn't really matter because like I think he's supposed to be like what 8, 9 years old or something like that. And he's still. I like how he still has a little bit of doubt left in him, but he's still at that edge where he's on the cusp of maybe losing his faith, but not really, which is why he's able to see and hear the train, whereas mom and
Mm-hmm.
dad can't hear or see the train. And that in the moment, I just love the moment when he sees the reindeer, but he can't see Santa because everybody's all excited. He can't see anything. They're all getting in front of him, and he sees one of the bells land right next to him. He's shaking it as hard as he can, but he can't hear anything. And it's all that stuff leading up to that one moment where he goes like, okay, I know this is real. He says, I believe, because, you know, he sees all this stuff and he's finally convinced that it's all real. So he decides to take a leap of faith, kind of like Indiana Jones in the third one, like the last final challenge. And
Yeah.
then when it rings, and he just goes, it's like he can finally hear it. And he starts shaking it again, and it's ringing. And then he looks at it, and in the reflection, he sees Santa standing right behind him. It's like, oh my God, it worked. It's like a
It's a
pivotal
really good
moment.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really pivotal moment for his character. It's like as like an arc, I guess, if you want to look at it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good. I have to get that out. That's one I haven't seen in a while. I have to get it out because I love animation is my favorite, and
Oh
I
yeah.
happen to think that the Robert Zemeckis' Christmas Carol he did with the motion capture is a little underrated as well. It's extremely faithful to the book.
I didn't see that one.
A lot of people don't like it, but I like it.
Is that the one with Jim Carrey where he plays like the three ghosts?
Yeah, it's also he plays Scrooge and the three ghosts, and
Um,
he's a motion capture, so that's how he's able to do it. And
I
they
see.
do a little bit too much of like scenes with him like flying through the air, and that I could do without. But as far as they include scenes that no other version that I have seen include, like it's very faithful. And I don't know, I like it. I think it's good.
Okay.
It's not perfect, but I like it.
All right, maybe
So
I'll try it one day.
yeah. Okay. So my next one, actually, this is my last one, is It's a Wonderful Life.
All
And
right, there we go.
I was able to see this last year on at the big screen on Christmas Eve. That was really fun. And I just think that some people are like, wait, it's way too over the top. But for me, like, he's about to kill himself. Of course it's going to be over the top. Like, they have to convince him that his life has value. Of course
Yeah.
it's going to be that way. And I feel like Jimmy Stewart is equally great at playing so many different characters in one movie. He's great at playing like the exuberant young person. He's great at playing the dejected, about to kill himself guy. He's great at playing the redeemed guy, the bitter guy. Like there's just so many different notes in that performance that are incredible. It looks, Frank Capra, the cinematography, it looks beautiful, and definitely make sure you watch it in the black and white, not the colorized version, which is hideous in my opinion.
Never seen the color version.
Oh, it's just wrong in my opinion. But and you just see like this person that never gets his way. He's never able to have sort of the life that he wants, that he dreams. He's never able to have his dream. Like, it's such a different kind of story than like other sort of stories about characters who keep fighting for their dream. This is the one who keeps having to compromise and compromise and compromise and compromise and compromise. Yeah. And he does the right thing every single time. And, it's like it just finally boils over. And I don't know who can't relate to that a little bit, and
yeah.
Where, you just have those moments in life where you're just like, oh my gosh, could anything else bad happen to me? Like, what is going on? And it does seem like there are people that just seems like they get the short end of the stick every time in life, it's like, oh man. Yeah. But, so it is a fable. It is a, it's meant to teach you a lesson, kind of, but it's Christmas. That's what I want in a movie. I want to think about things. I want to be taught a lesson, like that's just part of Christmas movies. And so I don't know. I just feel it's one of those ones that I can watch outside of Christmas, because I feel like it's only sort of tangentially about Christmas. It's about this person's life, and that life has meaning. And I love the message at the end of no man is a failure if he has friends. And his friends, that's the message that the angel Clarence gives to him, and who's a great performance as well in there. And Donna Reed's really good in it, and I just think that's really true. Like, as somebody that I don't have a family, I'm not married, and so my friends are really important to me. And so that's a message that I really take to heart, that maybe my life, by some eyes, a single life isn't as successful as a life with kids or whatever. But for me to think about that, and that no man is a failure who is loved by his friends. I think that's great.
That's a good point. Yeah. We watch that at least once a year, that movie, Wonderful Life. And like you said, Jimmy Stewart, he has really such diversity to him as an actor. And what I would also bring up, like the different parts of his character that he plays, like when he figures out, like when Clarence says, okay, you don't exist anymore. You want to never be born? Here it is. I'm going to show it to you, what it's like. And it's like you see like this horrified expression on his face when he realizes that his entire life is gone.
That's a good point.
Yeah, especially in the scene where he goes to talk to his mom, and obviously his mom doesn't know who he is. And like when, like it's like, Mom, it's me, your son. Don't you know who I am? He's got this look on his face like, you don't want your mom to ever reject you like that, wouldn't you?
Right.
I knew I wouldn't, because I'm close to my mom, and that would kill me if something like that happened. And it's just the look he has in his eyes. It's just perfect. And also the scene where he finally goes, okay, I get it now. I don't exist in this world. So he runs away, and the cops are chasing him. He finally goes back to the bridge, like, Clarence, I don't care if I go to jail. Just give me my life back. And then it all starts snowing, and it's that moment where you just go, oh man, please give him his life back. He knows he messed up. Now just give him another shot. And he's finally rewarded in the end. And it's one of those moments where you just go, yes, you got it.
Yeah. You do. You just cheer. And it's a dream. He finally gets, something good in his life, and it just feels like the whole, I don't know, there's just something that you feel like he's being rescued, I guess, by the love of his family and friends and everything. So it's one of my favorite movies. If I if I were going to make my friend Matthew Aaronhold, I don't know if you've ever looked at his channel, but he is doing his top 200 movies of all time. And it's a very eclectic list, I have to say. But I don't know if he'll have It's a Wonderful Life on there, but it would be on mine pretty high if I did a list like that.
Okay.
It would be on it might make my top 20. I like it that much.
Wow. Okay.
I just really think it's moving. I think it's so well acted. I think it's beautifully shot. I think it's a wonderful story that makes you think about your own life and the people that are in your life. And it has, it's just got it all.
Yeah.
So that's my number one. What's your number one?
Well, now that we got into there, it's big drum roll, please. It is, get it out, A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yay!
Well, in 2 days' time, it will be 50 years old.
Oh my
December
gosh.
1965.
That's crazy.
God, yeah. I grew up with the Peanuts, watching the specials every year. I have the music on my iPhone, the Linus and Lucy theme. And I even have the song from the movie, Better When I'm Dancing, the Peanuts movie. Because, real quick, that's actually a pretty harmless song, and it fits well with Charlie Brown. I was glad that they didn't make it so suggestive.
I downloaded the soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's fun.
Nice.
I like it. It's great. I think it's what I love. I mean, we both loved the Peanuts movie.
Yes.
Right? And what I love about it is that they just dared to treat, kind of similar to Home Alone in a way that Charles Schultz took his child characters seriously.
Yes.
There's no sense of pandering or treating them like they're not completely thoughtful, capable of coming up with all of the solutions and all of the deep thoughts, that you have. I love that.
Yeah, and I always what I really appreciated was I watched a behind the scenes featurette of Charlie Brown Christmas, and Bill Melendez, may he rest in peace, who's the voice of Snoopy in Woodstock, talked about how Charles Schultz brought up the idea of Linus reciting the Bible in that one scene, the Book of Luke. Is that what it is, the Book of Luke?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Melendez, I guess a couple other people just went, whoa, hold on a minute. That's a little bit risky. I mean, I don't think the networks are going to really like that. And he just goes, if we don't do it, nobody else will. So somebody's got to do it, which is why I've always appreciated how that special just goes for it. And I think even today, I don't think too many people are bothered by it. And I really hope, not to get too philosophical or political or anything, but I really hope that some atheist group out there doesn't try to encourage a boycott of the special just because of the Bible, of Linus reciting the Bible. Because
man,
because the moment that they
would come out, I would.
if I see something like that, it's gonna make me mad, because if they make them take that scene out, it's gonna go against the very meaning of that special.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Charlie Brown is trying to figure out what Christmas is all about, because as he says in the beginning, Linus says, there's something wrong with me. Christmas is coming, but I'm not happy. Something doesn't feel right. And so, you got the Christmas presents, the lights, the music, and they're trying to put on a play. Charlie Brown's trying to get them under control. They're not listening to him. And it's just one of my favorite moments, like when they start dancing to the Linus and Lucy theme, and Charlie Brown goes, "Stop the music!" And it's Snoopy giving Snoopy with Lucy in that one scene where he does this to her, and then he jumps up on top of her head like a vulture, and she goes, "I ought to slug you," and then she misses, and then he licks her and goes, "I'm been kissed by a dog."
Yeah, it's just so lovely. I mean, that's I think the best way, and I just love the fact that they allow, they don't cutify it at all. Like, he is allowed to be depressed. I think that's great. Yay!
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing I loved in Inside Out, was this idea that they allowed this little girl to be basically depressed, and she's not feeling anything, like she's empty. And that was such a ballsy move for Pixar, and I feel like it's very similar with Charlie Brown in the Peanuts movie and in this Christmas special. You know, that you're
Yeah.
allowing children to be, they don't have to be all cute and precocious and everything. They can be actual people with like a
Yeah.
myriad of emotions, and Charlie Brown, he wants to feel happy, but he doesn't, and I think that's a really great thing for not just for kids but for adults too,
Sure. Yeah.
to realize that sometimes that happens in life.
Yeah. Because otherwise, how are we supposed to connect with Charlie Brown if he doesn't feel at least depressed at least at one point in his life?
Yeah. And that's something that we all experience, you know, like that's part of being human.
Exactly. Yeah. And Linus reciting that passage from the Bible. I mean, it's just like I just love how everything's kind of quiet after he recites it. Everybody's looking, you know, because they all laugh at Charlie Brown over the Christmas tree, which, you know, is not the best looking tree in the world. And, you know, you can't really blame Charlie Brown. He sees something in that tree that nobody else really can. And when after Linus recites that the passage, he goes, "That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown," and I guess gives Charlie Brown that newfound confidence. And the rest of the gang just kind of looks on at Charlie Brown, and they're just like, "Wow," because hearing Linus say that just goes, maybe I think we were too hard on Charlie Brown. Maybe Linus is right. It's not just about that stuff. It's about, there's more to it than that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great movie. It's a great moment. I love the characters, and I'm so thrilled with the recent movie. I think it's just wonderful.
Yes, I'm so glad they didn't dumb it down.
No.
Like, I didn't see the Smurfs, but I watched those previews. I just go, no. I enjoy my life too much to watch something like that.
Well, what I was afraid is they were going to make it all hip and try to make it like cool and have celebrity voices and stuff like that.
Well, they did have one, but you didn't really know it was her. It was Fifi. It was voiced by Kristen Chenoweth.
Which is really random.
Yeah, but you know, it didn't overshadow the movie. It was just like a nice little surprise. Like if you saw the credits in that.
Yeah, it's a great choice. So yeah, these are some great Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It's a good time to be a movie fan, I think, during the holidays. There's lots of clunkers. There's some terrible Christmas movies. The worst one that I've ever seen, the worst Christmas movie is, I think, Four Christmases. I just hate it so much. It's so awful. And the fact you have 5 Academy Award-winning actors, 5 in that movie, and it is so bad.
Wait, 5?
5, yeah. It has Reese Witherspoon, has Robert Duvall, has Jon Voight, has Mary Steenburgen, and Sissy Spacek. All.
Oh, I was gonna say, wait a minute, not Vince Vaughn. He's never won an Oscar.
No.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's just so bad. It's really,
I know. I remember
bad.
feeling embarrassed while watching that. I mean, I thought it was just but I think the only thing that kind of made me laugh is when Reese Witherspoon gets puked on or something, and Vaughn starts gagging. I thought that's like the only time I laughed, and he starts saying something.
Like, you know, it's bad if the biggest laugh is a baby projectile scene. Like, that's the best laugh in the movie.
I just feel terrible now that I brought that up. But
I saw it in the theater. I don't know what I was thinking, and I saw it in the theater, and it was just like painful. It was so bad. Yeah, that's my worst.
Well, little fact here: the guy that they talked to at the front desk at the airport, who's the blonde looking guy with the blue eyes, that's Ralphie from A Christmas Story.
Oh, really? That's so funny.
Peter Billingsley. That's him.
Oh no.
I feel bad for him already. As far as worst Christmas movie or special, I can't really think of one. It's hard to. I've never seen the Star Wars Holiday Special. I know for some reason a lot of people hate it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I heard it's really bad.
Yeah, but I guess if you had to pick one, maybe I kind of liked watching it as a kid. I have not seen it in a long time. It's Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Anakin Skywalker, Jake Lloyd.
Yeah. It's really bad. Yeah, that's really, really bad.
I just find it really funny that Arnold Schwarzenegger's name in that movie's Howard. an Austrian guy. His named Howard. What is up with that? But
That's good. Yeah, I mean, and whenever Arnold tried to do comedy, I mean, I guess Twins is supposed to be pretty good. I've never seen that one, but yeah, not good. Just
but the only thing that me and my boss laugh about with that movie, it's the whole "put that cookie down now." He's a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, like with Terminator and Predator.
Yeah.
We joke about that sometimes. Like he'll bring in some cookies, like from the bakery department. I work at a grocery store.
Okay.
And I work in the produce section, and he'll bring in some cookies. It's like a little brunch type of thing, and he'll just go, and I'll grab one, and he goes, "Joe, put that cookie down now." And I say the same thing to him.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But as far as,
and especially like him becoming I forget the radioactive man or what. I know that's from The Simpsons, but what's Turbo Man? Turbo Man, him becoming Turbo Man. At the end, it's just like, oh my gosh, we've gone down the rabbit hole.
It's Sinbad in that movie.
Oof. Another really terrible one. We probably don't want to get this too long, but is Jack Frost with Michael Keaton. It is really bad. Yeah, I love Michael Keaton, but he plays this horrible father. He's a horrible example to his kids, everything.
I've seen it.
And have you seen it?
Yeah, not for a long time. I do remember.
It's really bad. It's weird. It's like uncomfortable. It's not really funny. It's just like, it's kind of mean spirited, I feel like, in the like making this kid like deal with this and this weird creation. Like, it's one of the worst, I think, special effects. Like, it looks like a horror movie. It's supposed to be this like, it looks horrible.
Yeah, I honestly have not seen that movie in a long time, but I do remember getting kind of sad where he's building the kid's building the snowman and that Stevie Nicks song is playing. Because like me, I guess I was a little kid, and sometimes I get upset whenever my dad wouldn't come to something that I wanted him to come to, and I don't know, just the idea of him not being able to talk to his dad in that scene alone, mind you, just that one scene, I felt like it was actually kind of sad. And he's not going to see his dad again. I thought, and Michael Keaton, good actor, yeah. I haven't seen too much of his stuff, but I don't know. I have to watch the movie again.
And then I do have to say one last one that's horrible. It's one of the worst animated films I've ever seen. Is Eight Crazy Nights by Adam Sandler. It's an animated film. It's supposed to be a Hanukkah movie, and it is. I mean, I feel bad. I feel bad for people celebrating Hanukkah because they have no good movies. Like, this is the worst. And it's so, like, awful. It's just awful. And so, yeah, don't see Eight Crazy Nights. The animation is okay, but that's all you can say for it. The jokes are just cringe-inducing Adam Sandler crap.
It feels like anything he touches these days is going to be bad. It's like it's that reverse Golden Touch.
Yeah, it's really true. So, all right. Well, I think that's everything I got.
Yeah, I don't really have too many worse choices to go with. I mean, Jingle All the Way was probably the only one I could think of, but I haven't really watched it in a while, so I can't really say. But I had a really good time with this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And just real quick, how are we gonna upload this onto? How would I be able to upload this? I know my friend showed it to me the one time.
Well, let me stop it, and then we can talk about it after I stop the broadcast.
Okay. Well, just a little side note here. I'm just before we sign off, I'm gonna go see Creed again tonight with my mom. She wants to see it, so I'm gonna review it. I'm gonna review it pretty soon. I just want to see it a second time, just to make sure that it's as good as I remember. But I'm excited for Star Wars also, so let's get ready for that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna see In the Heart of the Sea tomorrow.
Okay. It's got Tom Holland, the new Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, I mean I have to see some of his stuff too, but I'm hoping if you can't tell, I'm a Spider-Man fan right there. That's the second movie. It's my all-time favorite movie, believe it or not. I hope that he can deliver Spider-Man.
Great movie. I love this Spider-Man too. It's very good.
Thank you.
All right, so we stop the broadcast though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just but thank you, Rachel, for joining me, and thank you everybody who's watching, and have a Merry Christmas.
All right.